Good morning, everyone. I believe that we have now gone live and we're looking forward to people jumping on board for the webinar. If you are jumping on and you can say you're actually on, if you can give me a little hello in the chat box, that would be great. It'd be good to know people are jumping on and they can hear us okay. And yeah, that'd be really good. Just so a little quick one, I'm just gonna do some housekeeping while people jump on. We're not expecting any technical issues today. So if you do lose collection, I recommend that you kind of close Zoom down and reopen through the same link you joined on. It won't be any technical issues our end. But we've all seen the news about WhatsApp this morning, their technical issues. So it can happen. So I always like to start off and kick off by saying that. I'd also like to say hello to everyone joining us, and I'm really excited to be joined by Dan today from BTCSoftware. He's going to take us kind of through the software, give us a really good demo, deep dive, kind of give us a vibe of what they can do and what they offer, and how that can integrate with Xero, and how that can really help you guys in your practice. So we're going to start that very soon. But I just wanted to do a little bit more first. So just let you know, the webinar is being recorded. So if you do cut off or you want to share with anyone in the office, we'll be sharing that kind of in the next 24 hours with everyone. It's also CPD certified, which means you can earn free CPD credits by being here, by listening to it. And once again, a great reason to share around the office and show more people because they can use it towards their points. I believe people are coming through, Dan, so it's a good start. I have enabled screen sharing your end. I think that's kind of everything from mine. The only thing I would say to finish is if you have any questions, as Dan sharing stuff, feel free to put it in the quick Q&A box. We'll either answer it if it's relevant right then. If not, we will cover them at the end. So don't worry if we've not jumped in straight away. What I'm going to do next, I'm going to pass over to Dan. I'm then going to mute and kind of hide my video. I will be here if anyone needs anything or Dan needs anything, but I'll pass over to him and let him crack on. Enjoy, guys.
Thank you very much, Alex, and good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. Firstly, thank you to XU for having me, but also thank you as well for attending the webinar this morning. So I'm going to go through the technical bit now and just see if I can share my screen. Bear with me. And then we should be able to, whoops. Start from the very beginning. Okay, so my name is Dan. I have been working for BTC now for coming up 6 years, actually, in November. So my role within the company is primarily sales. So my job title is the new business sales manager. And my day-to-day is discussing with prospects and sometimes customers as well about their needs in terms of software, in terms of compliance software, and to find out if our software is the right fit for your practice or also for your business. So I'll give you kind of a quick intro into BTC for those of you who maybe aren't aware of who we are. I think I can actually see a couple of people in attendance whose names I do recognize. So hello to you if you are using BTC software, or those that are. So in this session, why listen to us? This is kind of an agenda in terms of what we're going to be discussing. Why seek referrals, which is pretty much the subject, as well as our Xero integration, which we'll be showcasing through a demo a bit later on. How you can boost referrals, software that can help, and a Q&A as well. For those of you that are maybe eagle-eyed, you might have noticed that at the bottom right-hand side of the screen, it says BTCSoftware and Bright. It's a very new acquisition, actually, as of, I think, 2 weeks now. We were acquired by Bright Group, which is extremely exciting. Those of you may already use products within the Bright Group roster, I guess you could call it. Those include things like Accountancy Manager, Bright Pay, Surf Accounts, and so on. And by being acquired by Bright, in terms of our customers, nothing's really going to change. It's only going to accelerate innovation, which is really, really exciting because those of you who know BTCSoftware, who maybe use BTCSoftware, our direction is to move everything into a web browser-based environment. So we'll have a full tax accounts compliance system in a web browser, which is going to be really, really exciting. And then we can look at some future integrations as well with Accountancy Manager for practice management. So why listen to us? So just give you a couple of statistics here. We have around 10% of leads are referrals. So 10% come from referrals. Generally speaking, around 2% is good for business to business. My next point is we have average customer lifespan over 8 years, which is extremely really good for software. We have a very high retention rate of BTC software, which we're very much proud of. And we were founded in 1999. So we've been founded over 20 years now, initially specializing in corporation tax. And then we added self-assessment and practice management. And then I think it was 2014, we added the accounts production module, which kind of completed was the final piece of the puzzle in that sense, in terms of completing the suite of products, which we call the solution suite, which the idea is kind of like a one-stop shop for accountants' compliance needs. And then in terms of customers, we have around 2,000 practices that are reliant on our software and around 500 businesses. So that business number has been dramatically increased with the introduction of MTD for VAT. And I'm sure will increase even more with the introduction of MTD for ITSA, as we have released a version for accountants to use, like VAT, and we also released a version for businesses to use as well, whether they're a group filing a group VAT return or just even a single business. We offered a £50 filer, a one-off filer for accountants to pass on to their businesses or just businesses to use. So we'll have the same sort of offering available for ITSA, in that we'll have a version for accountants where they'll be able to file multiple returns, and then also a version for businesses, landlords, for example, especially ones that are affected, where they can file their own self-assessment tax returns. And in the same way, similar to, again, to VAT, we'll have a spreadsheet template which we can pass on to our clients, which is going to be fully compliant with MTD ITSA rules. So why referrals? So 83% of consumers say that either completely or somewhat trust recommendations from family, colleagues, friends about products and services. Referral retention is actually 37% higher. So customers referred by other customers have a 37% higher retention rate. The source for that was actually Deloitte. We've got 5% increase in retention can increase profits by 25 to 90%. So analyzing the costs and revenue that came from serving customers over their whole purchasing life cycle showed that increasing customer retention rates by 5% can increase profits as much as a huge 95%. So customers who stay longer tend to refer more because they're much happier. So in terms of boosting referrals, I would start with your team. So you can ask your people to come up with a list of clients who have indicated satisfaction with your practice in conversation. Make it public. So you can get into the habit of sending clients a link to Trustpilot or Google reviews after every polite conversation that you have. And you can guide them by asking them open-ended questions. So some of those might include, what was the biggest challenge you asked us to help you with, and how did we help? What's the biggest benefit of working with us? And another one would be, if your friend was looking for an accountant, why would you recommend us? So consider incentivization to your clients as well. Offer clients an incentive to refer directly to your practice. You can use vouchers for successful referrals, which is a simple solution. We at BTCSoftware have a referral scheme in which customers of BTCSoftware, if they were to refer a friend, there's an advantage to that. Or even another one might be a free consultation that you offer to the actual prospect that's coming onto your business in terms of your accountancy practice. Use the right tools. So by ensuring your practice is able to serve clients effectively, you can increase the likelihood that clients would refer you. The more clients saying my accountant is great means the better that you'll do. So great software can make a huge, huge difference. So coming on to software, segueing me quite nicely onto the next point, which is our demonstration. I'm going to do a quick demonstration of how our software integrates with Xero. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to tab out of the presentation now. Hopefully you can all see that clearly. So I'm loading up BTCSoftware on my screen now, and I'll select my client. Now, just while I clear some work here, what I am going to do is explain that the look and feel of BTC software is going to completely change. At the moment, we're looking at BTC software in the desktop environment. But as I said, all of this is going to move into a web browser. So the kind of the look and feel of this software that you're seeing here is going to completely change. Functionality is still going to remain the exact same, but with further bells and whistles and integrations added. But certainly the look and feel is a lot cleaner in terms of the software in SaaS. Right, so we're just going to discard these year-end accounts so we can start from scratch. So I've got a set of year-end accounts here that I've completed for this client, which we're going to use to roll forward from. So we can roll forward the task here and open up a set of new year-end accounts. So it's snapped to my correct accounting period there. And from here, I can view and edit the year-end accounts. So what that'll do is that'll open up a new window where within here we can choose the correct accounts production template for the certain client that we're using, dependent on the size of the business. In this case, I'm rolling forward from a prior year in which it was an FRS 102 1A. So I can continue to use that, but we've got other templates available like the 105 for micro entities and the 102 for medium to large. I had a couple of bespoke templates listed there as well, if you notice those. And then if I open up the year-end accounts, that's going to take me straight into the year-end accounts module directly from this practice management database that we've briefly seen. So I really want to highlight the two-way Xero integration that we have. So I can roll forward the task here to ensure that my prior year comparatives are going to come into my extended trial balance. And over in this table of contents on the left-hand side, we've got a list of pages of the report for the accounts. And if I drop into extended trial balance and we move this editing panel over to the right-hand side, you can see where I've rolled forward from the prior year, I've got some of my prior year comparatives have come into that column there, column J. So it's now up for me to get my original trial balance column filled out for the current year. So there's several different ways that I can do this. I can manually key the figures directly into here if I wanted. I've got the option of producing several journals, which we'll come back to in a second. And I've also got an incomplete records module. So if you do have clients with sort of come in with shoeboxes of receipts, we have got almost like a mini bookkeeping package for building up the extended trial balance. It isn't as comprehensive as something like Xero is, as it doesn't include the upload of bank feeds and other bits and pieces, receipt scanning and all these sorts of things. But it is for manually keying in some payments and receipts. So if I go into trial balance import here and go to my drop down and select Xero, there's several different bookkeeping packages that we integrate with, but Xero is one that we have two-way integration with. And if I select Xero and hit the download option, I'm actually able to log into Xero directly from within BTC software. So Xero's got a two-factor authentication. So I'm just going to log into that here. I can allow access to view Smith Software's business transactions and reports. And it's going to take me straight into the mapping screen now. So I can roll forward and it will take me straight into the mapping screen. So this mapping screen here, essentially what we're doing is we're mapping Xero's codes and descriptions to BTC Software's ledgers and accounts, so that all of these values here are going to go into the correct boxes within our software. So it kind of works in like a traffic light system would, and it successfully mapped the ones in green. Software, when you import for the first time, might attempt to guess the ledgers and accounts in yellow. You can simply tick them off if they're correct. And then the ones in red here, it's very, very nice and simple in terms of assigning these. It's just a case of choosing from the drop down. So for example, where I've got legal and professional fees, I can drop into admin expenses and then just find the appropriate account, which in this case might be other legal and professional costs. Now, when I roll forward into the following year, it's going to remember all of this mapping that I've got here. So if I don't introduce any new IDs or descriptions in the following year, when I import from Xero, when I log in, I'm going to get a complete green trial balance mapping screen. And the idea is when I click import, in future years, you'll be importing at a click of a button. So we get a nice message there saying, are you sure you want to import the data? We can say yes. And all of those values are going to go into the correct boxes now within the extended trial balance. So we've got a nice handy tool here called collapse empty data, which is just going to get rid of those unused cells, as you can see, and gives a much nicer view of the extended trial balance. And the next stage is we're going to make an adjustment. So if I go into the journals tab, hit add, we can give it a description. Let's call it journal adjustment 1. And I might want to make some simple adjustments just to some admin expenses. So let's say we wanted to deduct £100 out of telephone, and we wanted to put it in software. Investing in software. There we go. That's good, isn't it? So there we go. So you've got our codes that are coming from Xero, so that you might recognize some of these codes already. I can hit save and close and then click OK. And you can see just on the column D there, I've got my journal adjustment. Now, what's handy with BTCSoftware, as well as being able to import your trial balance directly from Xero, you can also export any adjustments, which also includes bringing the corporation tax provision back into the accounts, which is done automatically from within the corporation tax return module. So the idea is actually you want to bring the corporation tax chargeable figure back out into the accounts and then do all your journals at once. But in this case, I'm just going to show you through the journal that I've just created here. So if I go to print and journal export, I can hit export. It's going to recognize that I've imported from Xero. So it's going to choose Xero automatically from the drop down here. And if I choose upload and update, we get a nice message there to say that that journal has been successfully uploaded into Xero. So now if I want to view that in Xero, I can just simply click yes. At this point, it has already been posted. We can log in. Just authenticate another time. And then we'll see that that journal is now in Xero, and we've got a nice timestamp at the bottom here to say the exact time, and it was received through the Xero API from BTCSoftware. So if I come out of here now, if I've added my details into the extended trial balance, I've also added my journal. I can assign a director, for example, that's going to be signing off the accounts, or multiple if I wanted to, but I'll just choose one in this case. And then it's just a case of, if I can get to the button, because we can override the warning. So we have warnings and error messages within our software, which kind of act as safety net features so that you can't go wrong. I'm just having to sort of minimize the screen at the moment because Zoom doesn't let me get rid of the control bar at the top, which was blocking a couple of the options. But if I re-maximize this, there we go. So once we've checked and generated, the check and generate button essentially allows us to look for any warning or error messages which would prevent you from going wrong. I can choose the small X to come out of the accounts production module, which we were just in. I'm back out into the summary where we selected the template, and it actually gives me the option to open up the CT return. So it's worth mentioning we have two-way integration between the accounts and the tax modules, all tax modules and all accounts. So for example, if you produced a sole trader set of accounts, you can link that to an individual tax return. But we also have integrations between tax returns as well. So if you filled out a partnership tax return, for example, you can pull that into the individual tax return as well. So upon entering the corporation tax return module, we've got an adjustment of profit. So as you can see, it's brought through some figures from the accounts. In this case, some figures for entertaining and bank building society and other interest. If there was any penalties and fines or something similar, you can just manually key them in, nice and simple. When we go to the corporation tax calculation, if I scroll across, and we can move this across if we want to, you can see where we've rolled forward from the, where we've completed the set of accounts rather, we've got the corporation tax chargeable figure, which has been automatically calculated. So really the only thing that we need to do within the corporation tax return module is cover off any losses. You can see we've got a losses memorandum at the bottom here, and then any supplementary schedules, of which we've got plenty covered. So we've got capital allowances, capital gains, R&D, property pages, and then we've also got several of the corporation tax forms or pages as well. So for example, we've got loans to participators, directors with the A, and then we've also got charities as well with CC600E. So if you do have any charities, we also have charity accounts and can submit the CC600E form for charities to HMRC as well. Now, if we said this was a relatively simple corporation tax return, we can add a name and status for the first year for our director. And what's nice about our software in comparison to some of the others that are out there is when we check and generate, I'm actually able to hit the button this time, Zoom's letting me, it takes our corporation tax chargeable figure down here or here and posts it back to the accounts automatically, as opposed to you having to go back to the accounts and then manually key that figure back out to the accounts, which is obviously time consuming per client. And you can also run across rounding errors, other bits and pieces. And once we get this nice message to say the corporation tax return was checked and the IXBRL file generated successfully, when we go back to our accounts, what we'll see is that corporation tax chargeable figure will be under column E. But in addition to that, it's added it as a journal, as you can see, so that we can post it back to the bookkeeping package, back to Xero directly from our software. So we do that all in one. And then when we check and generate, so we'll override a couple of warnings there just for the sake of the demo. We should get that nice message again to say the year-end accounts were checked and that all-important IXBRL file generated successfully. There we go. So we can then submit to Companies House, or we can produce a report to send to the client. I won't do that for that demo, but if you want to see what that looks like, just let us know. We can tick the tick box at the bottom here to confirm that we've got the authority from the client to submit. I've got options for filleted accounts or full accounts. It will always default to the filleted version, but it does give you the option to submit full accounts if you ever wanted to. And then if I submit filleted accounts to Companies House, they go directly from our software. Now, obviously, I'm on a demo version. I'd be annoying Companies House and HMRC daily if I kept on sending them rubbish. But hopefully for you, you would have a nice message there to say it went through, and then you would have all your email notifications that come through as well as standard. And then same for the tax return. So you'd be able to submit the tax return directly from our software to HMRC, and it will go alongside the IXBRL set of accounts. And there we are. So that's the demo. So if you do have any questions in relation to the demo, I think we've got plenty of time for kind of questions and answers at the end. And if you have any questions in relation to our software in general, anything that we haven't seen today, self-assessment, partnerships, trusts, charities, the future of BTC software in terms of what it looks like in terms of SaaS, be more than happy to answer any questions that you do have. And I'll just tab back to my presentation, which there we are. Any questions?
Hey, Dan, I thought I'd just jump back in here to help with pass any questions over to you and see if anyone else does. One of the first questions that I saw come through was, is there any other integrations? Obviously, you mentioned the Xero side of things. Is there any other accounting software you have that kind of two-way integration with, or you integrate with at all?
Yeah, perfect question. Yeah, so we have that same integration with QuickBooks, Free Agent, and Reckon One. I think it's an IFA books product. We are at the moment speaking with Sage to hopefully be able to have a two-way integration with the online Sage products. Obviously, it has to be online. So there are offline versions of Sage and things like VT, which are going to be CSV files. Same as spreadsheets, you're able to upload spreadsheets directly into the trial balance. But in terms of a two-way integration, yeah, QuickBooks, Reckon One, Free Agent, and Xero are the ones. And in addition to that, actually, on integration, something that I didn't mention is that we do at the moment integrate with My DocSafe and DocuSign. So they are integrations within the software which help with GDPR compliance. So they offer a portal where you're able to send documents like a set of accounts, a tax return, or an engagement letter directly from our software through a secure portal. So you're not emailing it where it can be intercepted. And then it gives your clients their own mini document management portal that you can but they can access the documents in real time. So if they're sat there with a financial advisor, for example, they're not pestering you for documents you've already sent them. They've got their own portal where they can log in, electronically sign things, and access anything that you've sent.
That makes real sense. I'm glad you got a chance to mention them integrations.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked the question now. Yeah.
Yeah, pushing out there kind of thing, even more integrations with it. And also you mentioned, obviously, you're looking at accounting manager integration pretty soon as well, or that's on the roadmap for the future.
Yeah. So the acquisition is still very new. So we're even in the stages of kind of meeting all the team members and stuff at the moment, which is pretty exciting. So there's a lot of people to meet, which is we're kind of going from like a team of about 30 to 300, which is all a bit crazy, but it is really good. So we haven't actually got any kind of exact dates in terms of when things are going to come out or when things are due to happen. Apart from obviously the cloud offering, we're hoping to come out as soon as possible. But in terms of integrations with AM, they'll be accelerated because it's important to us, as we've got accountancy manager clients of ours, but we haven't got a specific date just yet.
Well, it's great to know you're kind of working on stuff. So watch this space for integration and improvements going forward. I think I read from what you said there.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah.
I'm going to give anyone else a few more chances to add any questions in. One of the ones I also had was, do you offer kind of any more in-depth demos, one-to-one demos, anything you can share more about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So we do offer a personal one-to-one demonstration of any elements of the software that you wanted to look at. So if you would like to book one of those, you can do that directly from the website. Actually, I think you can book straight into my diary, or you can give us a call using the telephone number that's on screen there. You can ask for myself or any member of the sales team, and we can book you in for kind of like a free quick consultation, demo, anything like that.
And what we'll do is we'll make sure we follow up with kind of phone numbers and any demo links directly as well, so everyone that's attended. So they get the email kind of tomorrow with the recording, which I think I mentioned earlier, just so everyone's got that and can get in hold of you guys in any way as well. I know the information's on screen, but it's always good to follow up with that as well. I haven't seen any more questions come in, but so you must have done a really good job on the demo of covering everything people had questions on. So unless you've got anything else to share, I'll wrap it up, let people carry on and make sure everything's sent out to them. But no.
Awesome. Sounds good. Thanks, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we've had everyone for joining. We will follow up with the webinar recording. We recommend sharing it again because it is free CPD, and you do get to learn more about BTC and around with the office as well. And I would encourage you to look out for the email or contact these guys to make sure you get any demo or questions answers that you have that maybe you didn't want to share actually on the webinar live. But Dan, I appreciate the time. Thank you for sharing. And yeah, we'll catch up with you all soon, but have a great rest of your day.
Thank you very much.